what does it mean to build wealth in Canada? People talk about it, but like, what does that actually mean, right? And so you have the top 73% of Canadians, or sorry, the top 20% of Canadians, that they actually own 73% of all the assets in Canada. It's wild. It's kind of the old 80-20 rule. It's not quite 80-20, it's 73-20, but like it's pretty close. And what does that actually mean? It's like they have a net worth of $1.2 million or higher.
Right.
And so it just became very clear throughout my career. It's like, what am I actually trying to do? Every meeting with a client, every year, year over year, it's like they're running businesses, they're making financial decisions. It's like, what are we actually trying to accomplish here? It's like we're trying to get into that top 20%. That's like the first goal, right?
Yeah.
And I think I said at the boot camp is like, I got to get you there somehow, some way. I have to get you to $1.2 million because some people would say there's a work-life balance before that, but in my mind, you're not really going to have any balance or choices before then. I mean, if you're just really happy being broke, I mean, okay, you don't need to get to $1.2 million, but like, if you're going to be, if feeling broke is going to prevent you from being happy, it's like, I better get you to 1.2 million, right? From there, you can think about like, how do you optimize your life? What is the balance that you want? Do you want the balance? Do you want to go to 7.3 million, go to the top 1%?
Right.
Or we're going to stay, top 20%, right? But before then, it's like most people are on, the inflationary train tracks.
Right.
The train is coming, and unless they get a big enough, grouping of assets, like they're just not getting there, because the monetary system is basically designed to move the money from the people who do the work to the people who own the assets.
Right.
You have a $10 million net worth and inflation is 10%. It's like your net worth went up by $1 million. The gas in your car and the groceries that you buy didn't go up by $1 million. Like you only need so much consumables. So at some point it shifts, right?
Right.
$1.2 million is pretty clear, right? And so the bottom 60% of Canadians, it's like, they only have 27% of the stuff. And those cutoffs are very much, let's call it the bottom 40%. Or the bottom 40%, they're 200,000, right? The bottom 40%, they have a net worth of $200,000 or less, right? The middle 40%, 200,000 to 1.2 million, right? The days of being a millionaire and thinking that was the end of the game, it's like you're not even at the base level, I don't think.
Not
right?
anymore. No.
It's kind of 1.2 million will be the base level, where you can have, I'll call it a comfortable lifestyle. Like you could have a comfortable lifestyle. It might not be where you want and on the exact terms you want at 1.2 million.
Yeah, you're still working. You're still, running your business or having a job, whatever that is. It's you're still in that mode, even at a 1.2 million net worth. Because I mean, if you look at it, that can be your home and possibly a rental property, right? Maybe you have some stocks or investments in Bitcoin or gold, but still you need to work or earn that business revenue in order to pay for the everyday.
That's right? And could you, retire off of 1.2 million? You could retire off of 1.2 million, but it's probably not going to be the extravagant, millionaire lifestyle that you thought about, right? It's like the meme on the internet you see. It's like what I thought $1 million house looked like when I was a kid, and what $1 million house actually looks like, right?
Just show a house from Vancouver. It's a little shack. And
it's a little shack.
$4 million, right?
If you got a $1.2 million net worth, it's like you're not going to own a house in downtown Vancouver. Like that's not going to be a comfortable lifestyle. You won't be able to afford to pay the property tax, utilities on it. Like it's all tied up in the house, and you'll still have a mortgage on top of it, right?
Yeah. So what does it mean then? So let's get back to this graphic. So what would that mean if someone gets to that 1.2 million net worth level? What's that lifestyle look like? And where do they go from there? Number one, let's maybe map out a path how they get there, and then where do they go from there?
Well, I mean, I think we should even just back up. Right?
Sure.
Some people maybe are joining us for the first time.
Right.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Some people maybe know us, and some people don't know us. But, my name is Josh Spurrell. For the people who don't, who are tuning in, who just randomly came across my this page here, right? I've been basically interested in finance and wealth since I was, since a kid, right? At one time, I convinced my mother when I was 17 years old to set up a trading account for me, and it had to be an in-trust account. And of course, I illegally accessed the account and made trades on the account that she was supposed to be doing, but she didn't really know how to use the computer that well, so it was fine. I was doing that, and so I started trading penny stocks at 17 years old, and I thought I was really, really smart, and I was really, really dumb. But I was learning, right? And so it's interesting for me now because I'm an old millennial. I'm basically the oldest millennial you could be before I become in the Gen X category.
Right. Almost Gen X.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, Josh.
Yeah, but I was trading penny stocks, and I see the young millennials, the Gen Zs now, and they're trading the meme coins.
Right.
I totally get it. I totally get it because that was me, right? But if I had a little more guidance, I could have got where I am today quicker, right? And building a $1.2 million net worth, it's like, I really built a $1.2 million net worth before I entered the top 1% of earning power. So that's like, I tell people it's like attainable. You can get to $1.2 million in net worth, but you can do that without 1% earning level. You can actually do that on median income.
Right.
You have to be more disciplined. Mm-hmm. You have to be very patient.
Yes.
And you have to have a degree of knowledge, right? But you can get into that top 20% of net worth on median income, which just requires discipline, patience, knowledge.
Right.
And that's kind of not what we have. Like most Canadians, they're painted in the wrong direction, right? They're taking advice from, say, a big bank, a big five bank, who in one side of their mouth they're telling you they're going to help you build, you're richer than you think type of thing, and help you build wealth. On the other side, you walk down the hall and they're going to sell you a 7 or 8 year car loan. You know what I mean? So how many Canadians out there have more debt from the same financial institution where they have their investments? And I'm not talking mortgage debt. I'm talking credit cards, lines of credit, car loans, debt on stuff that does not go up in value. And they don't have a portfolio that's actually bigger than their investments. And that's just insane. It's like, how can that person honestly say they're acting as in your best interest if they'll sell you that product, right? You're trying to buy $100,000 truck, but you have less than $10,000 of investments, $20,000 or $30,000 in investments. Like, well, why are they not just like, lambasting you, right? It's like if one of my clients asks that, it's like we're gonna have kind of a really, little bit of a awkward heart to heart on that. It's like, do we actually need that vehicle, right? Maybe a different story if someone's actually running they're running a construction business, and this is how they generate, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $1 million worth of revenue. But someone on a $60,000 to $100,000 a year salary, and they're buying an $80,000 to $100,000 car, and they only have liquid assets of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. It's like, that's just a stupid decision. They can get to that job on the bus. Never mind a beater car. They could get there on the bus, right? And so, like, how do we actually paint people towards that? So going all the way back, at 17, from there, I started my construction company, ran that for a few years, sold that, went back to school to become a chartered professional accountant. It takes me 7 years, to become at the old days, it was a chartered accountant, CA, right? So you had 4-year undergrad degree, then you had to apprentice or article, as we call it, for 3 years, right? And then, I've been working in public practice accounting now since 2008, 16 years. Started this firm 13 years ago, grown the firm to 25 people across the 3 different offices. So, we're amateur YouTubers here. But so it's funny. The other day, I think someone says, "Oh, you're trying to be a finfluencer." It's like, no. I had a 7-figure business before I ever, had an Instagram account.
Right.
Totally opposite, right?
The point of this podcast is to help people in Canada achieve the same thing or better.
Yeah.
just by listening to the information and the knowledge that you have to share with them. Because I mean, you don't need to do this. This isn't something that you have to do because you're trying to earn more income. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is so many people in Canada are in financial straits because they don't have the financial understanding or knowledge or training that would help them to get out of the rat race and get out of the salary wheel, right?
Yeah. How do I help Canadians beat the odds, right?
Yeah.
Because like at our firm, like there's a certain minimum level we can take someone on that's economical for us, right? The banks will gladly take you on at any wealth advisor level because they're going to sell you some other crappy product on top of it. They're going to sell you a credit card or a line of credit or a car loan that you can't afford, and they're going to milk you for that, right?
Yeah. The banks aren't your friends.
We charge reasonable flat fees. A lot of times we sit down in an initial meeting and say, you're just not you're not ready. Like, I can't help you. Here's what to do, step A, B, and C. But how do we help people at scale? It's like, how do we actually get people to the point where they're ready, where they could buy from us, right? This would be this podcast, right? Because for, let's call 80% of the people out there, it's like, I don't have anything to sell you. Like the Alex Hormozy line is like, I'm Alex Hormozy and I have $100 million. I have nothing to sell you. It's like, I got something to sell you, but for 80% of them, it's not the right fit, right?